See, Jebby gets it right every time. All
That
right.
last one was Bob.
No, brought to you by Jeb. So anyway, were you able to work your magic on the Reddit post?
No, I was
Okay.
not. So
I
you'll
will
just
have to
have to
remember it.
tell me what you remember.
So this is Am I the Butt Face for telling my in-laws they can't drive my kids anymore. Now, this has been pulled. Before we get into that, Joe, explain to me Reddit and how I guess even if they post something fine, maybe something else can go against terms of service because apparently this person's original account looks like it's been shadow banned or suspended.
Yeah. So Reddit as a whole has some rules, but then each subreddit has its own set of rules. So if they're shadow banned by Reddit as a whole, that means they broke Reddit's rules. Um, and so
Which
yeah,
it
no,
doesn't
you
seem like there's a ton of those.
no, there are not. You've got to do some pretty bad stuff to get shadow banned. In fact, I know of one person who got IP banned from Reddit. So whenever they made new accounts, they were automatically banned because they got IP banned by Reddit because they were very, very, very argumentative, and they I mean that's just the internet in general. If it was just that, they wouldn't have been shadow banned, but they were also threatening mods in various subreddits to dox them.
Oh,
So
no, no,
yeah,
no.
so yeah, Reddit was like, yeah, no, you're done on our platform. Peace out.
Yeah. So somehow, and then it also said, even though it says it was removed because they may have been suspended, it also says it was deleted by the person who was originally posting it. What I remember of it, because I tend to skim these, so I thought we were going to read it on the show, right? But essentially, it was a mom posting, presumably, in our age, where her parents, the grandparents, are well enough in health to not have done some of this stuff, and it boils down to um, she would show her parents how to put the car seats in for her two kids and take care of everything. And she was a single mom, if I remember right, and working a job. And there was a couple of times where, she'd have to call the in-laws. I think her husband died maybe because she couldn't call the husband and her parents weren't in the picture. It was the in-laws and her. And so they'd go pick up the kids from school and different things. And the kids start talking about how things weren't done right with the chairs, as she showed them again. And then there was another time when she had a stressed day. They had to swing in and help with the kids, bad things at work, whatever. And she comes and the grandparents are there with the kids, and she opens the door and the seats aren't secured at all, as she just loses it on them. And basically throughout this whole thing, there's more details and I don't remember them because I was like, okay, cool, we'll read this for color, right? Color commentary in the show. But they would just like look sheepish and like, oh, I'm sorry, we just forget how to do it. It's so complicated and this and that and the other. And so her question was, after like the third time of trying to show them and tell them, and the kids are still not locked into their seats right. Like on the little baby, not baby, but toddler or whatever, the bottom buckle that you clip everything into wasn't buckled. The son, the seat he was in, it wasn't tied down, so it'd flop over. When you drive. So is she, Joe, the butt face, for telling her in-laws they can't drive her kids anymore?
No, I mean, if there's a safety risk, definitely not. You got to take care of your kids, and if the in-laws are not doing what they need to be doing to ensure that safety, no. Just like if they were wretched drivers that got in accidents all the time, I wouldn't want them driving my kids either.
Right, or you text and drive,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. No, I'm with you, and here's why I get actually hot about it. Because there could be people make this, and my brain does this for me, so it works for the show. But people make excuses. Oh, well, maybe it was too difficult. Maybe they just are too old. Maybe they didn't. Well, okay, if you're too old to understand, you're not safe on the road. Number one. Number two, they didn't care. It's not an age thing. If you cared, you can try to learn it. Three, why aren't you buying two sets of car seats? Why are we not? If it's going to be that much of an idiotic problem that what everything about what I did read told me, they did not care what she thought, and they didn't care enough about these kids to make them safe.
Because back in
And
my day, we didn't even need to put them in seat belts. We
oh
didn't
man,
have to put them in car seats. They just flew around the back whenever you turned super hard.
we did. It was so much fun.
They just slammed into the door. Just be thankful we didn't roll down the window so they could fly on out.
Look, I used to lay in the back window of my grandparents' Buick and ask them to slam on the brakes so I'd flip down into the floor. And long trips, but in the back seat of the car, we'd have to flip a corner or something to figure out. But one of us had basically blankets and stuff in the floorboards, and we had the hole across the car in the floorboard, and the other person had, my sister, would have the seat. And we could trade or whatever, but you had a little bit more room. You had your own little space. No seatbelts, yeah. But that's one. Statistically were not as many people on the road. Also, cars were made of metal with no crunch zones, and in general, people moved slower back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Nowadays, none of that's true.
But I don't care about your statistics. Look at this one story where the baby was clearly saved by being thrown from the car.
That's AI, boomer. That's an AI story.
But it was perfectly safe. It landed in a hay bale. It was great.
Joe, get some sleep. Jeezy crazy. This bit's going on so long. But nowadays, it's easy enough to buy 2 sets of car seats. That's the first thing my mother-in-law did was after we got with Oakland, after we got our car seat, what we got situated, she asked exactly what it was and went and bought the base for her car so it'd always be in the back seat. So she could always be good and not have to worry about figuring it out. And I did have to be the one to set it up. I mean, these things are not, nowadays they are way easier to put in. You got the little clip systems, and that's a lot easier to pull type. But when you did the seat, anyway. But that's it, right? They're not caring enough about the kids to keep them safe and for all the things old man Joe talked about, possibly. But no, protect your kids. And you're probably more questioning, are you the butt face for saying that, because you just cut off your lifeline. Because now you have to leave work to get your kid, but at the same time you got to protect your kids. And I have a real life story on that where it was an Easter Sunday. And you can tell by the change in my voice, I do not like Easter Sundays.
Back in my day,
oh, no!
when it was Sunday, you drove 10 miles per hour under the speed limit and just looked at the scenery. So there was no need for any kind of seat belts.
All right, Bob, I need you to do that to your dad all day tomorrow. All day. Just put on that back in my day and go rambling, okay? But my family wanted my kids for Easter Sunday, but they were little. I say they need their sleep. Do not wake them up for the sunrise service. It doesn't matter. My sister won't admit it, but it messed both of us up for having grown up in the church and having to be there every Easter Sunday and all that early crap. And it doesn't matter. It's so stupid. And so I said flat out, but my kids are too young. They were like 3 and 4. Do not wake them up for Easter Sunday. And so my sister didn't wake them up for Easter Sunday. She woke them up for Easter Sunday breakfast, which was, so Easter sunrise was like 6:30 to 7, right? 7:15, the sun comes up, right? And then they have a breakfast at 7:30. That says if you go to sunrise service, now everybody goes sit down and eats breakfast at the, camping pot of eggs and. So when I found out about it, I lost my stuff. I lost my stuff on her. And I said, she was with my mom. I said, no, I told you not to do that. She thinks she owns my kids. I'm going to prove to you you don't. Bring them back to me right now. And so we met halfway, which is a gas station. I was there a little bit earlier than she was. When I say she came burning in, like that grandparent who drives too fast and thinks they drive slow, she like almost burned rubber into the parking lot and comes slammed on the brakes right next to me. And my kids were scared. And I got them out of the car and I told her, you will never drive my kids again. End of story.
Back in my day, we celebrated Easter by
Roll some dice.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
You see, before Easter,
No, not that one. Not excellent. Not excellent.
I don't like it.
they nap. So that's what I think everyone.
Joe, roll some dice.
Back in my day, we didn't listen to songs.
Oh my God. No moonshine Slurpee for you. Freaking Malachi.
Did you even hear what he said?
Yeah, no, I heard what he said.